I'm like, bitch, I'm getting shot at. Like, I'm bleeding for this shit. You're not. So we ain't got shit to say to each other. Like,
thank you so much for joining me, and welcome to another episode of The Blurred Girl Live. This is like my little weekly show where I chat with actors, artists, creators of all kinds about all their little geeky pursuits. Now, tonight my guest is the actress who plays Maggie Lee, the clairvoyant queer librarian with the Scrabble bag that gets messages from another dimension. She's also a writer, content creator, public speaker, painter, and Moonie. Yes, Sailor Moon fangirl. Welcome to the show, Jahkara Smith, aka Sailor J.
hi.
Hello.
It
How
took
you
everything in me
doing?
not to be like, it took everything in me. Everything. I was like, nah. I was like, let me just say hey for the one time.
So, full disclosure, everybody, I got a chance to talk to Jahkara for Sci-Fi Wire a few months ago, but we had this great, amazing, long conversation, and the whole thing had to be edited down, and I always regretted that. And I was like, I got to get her on my podcast. I got to get her on a show. Oh, I have a show. Perfect.
Oh, I have one of those. Solution.
Solved. So, I'm so happy that you're here hanging out, and we drank it. I'm so
Thanks.
happy.
I don't have a wine glass, so I'm using a smoothie cup.
Oh my God,
It's
you're
the
using
first
a
time
bullet.
I've used this
Using like a
smoothie cup
smoothie
in
bullet.
like 4 months. Yes, and it's like the first time I've used it in 3 months, bruh. I've got like kale and avocados in the fridge that every time I open the fridge, they just
But
look at
wait,
me like,
hold that up a second, because I just need to let everybody know that that is not the normal serving of alcohol that one drinks.
nah. This is straight. See, the way the cup is shaped is it's actually less wine. It's actually less this way because of the circular motion. Like, you know how they say the earth is flat because you can't see around? If you just look at it this way, like flat, just from like here,
And
you
now
can't
the earth
tell
is flat.
the top of the look, and it's flat like that. It's all like you learn it in math and shit.
You
That's how it
said
works.
math. So, first
And
of
for
all,
every sip I take, it's closer to a normal serving.
okay, you know what? Put that down for a second. So, honestly, I just want to check in all seriousness to make sure that you're okay, because we were talking
Yeah.
about this briefly before the show. I was on Instagram watching. I mean, you've been out here marching and doing the most, and please stay healthy and please stay safe. But then you go on Instagram Live and you bleeding from the head because you got hit in the head. What was it? A rubber bullet? What happened?
It was just, yeah, it was a rubber bullet. We were, it was like back during the Fairfax week where like shit went crazy on Fairfax and Melrose. And it was at one point that they just pulled up and like popped open the trunks and just started firing at people. And I was like just there. And I put it on Instagram because I wanted people to see. I feel like, especially because of YouTube, like YouTube or acting, like any job you have that requires you to be on any kind of like platform, I think people get an idea that they know who you are from that, instead of taking it as like a character or like a joke or anything like that. They feel like they know who you are and they attach to that. And I feel like because I am racially ambiguous, it allows people to like separate me from my blackness. And so they don't acknowledge that. And it just pisses me off because like you constantly see people like comment on your shit and ask you to make more content and ask you to do this and that. And they love you so much and they support you so much and da-da-da. And it's like, that's fine. I'm asking you to love this. Like, this is the shit that I care about. Like the shit that y'all care about that got you here, that got you to me, doesn't actually matter. Like none of the shit that I have made matters. None of the shit that I've cracked jokes on matters. This is some shit that matters now. So, I just like wanted people to see it. I wanted people to see it also because for a while, like people couldn't understand why I wasn't super responsive. Because at the time, like if we didn't talk about the movement, if we weren't talking about the protests, if we weren't talking about what was going on, what the fuck do you have to say to me? And people were so appalled by it. Like they were so taken aback by it. And I'm like, bitch, I'm getting shot at. Like I'm bleeding for this shit. You're not. So we ain't got shit to say to each other. Like,
Well,
post
also,
a motherfucking protest, go do something.
Well, and also we all saw that girl that was in like that ball gown that was out there like trying to take pictures for Instagram, like the protests were a backdrop. Like,
Girl,
they
they got
dragged her for
bouquets and
filth.
shit.
Mm-mm.
As they should have, man. And that's the thing is black people are super tolerant, which is not like it's not understood. Like people don't believe us when we try to express how peaceful we are as a people because like the amount of restraint it took to not snatch that bitch up by her scalp. Like, could you imagine? Bruh, I'm for real. Could you imagine
I
like your
believe
child
you.
dies or some shit and at the funeral some white bitch poses up and she's like, equality.
Right.
Like at a fucking funeral, like it might as
Yeah.
well be the same shit in my opinion.
That's what
Like
it
we're
felt
there
like.
for people that died, bro. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. And people want to, oh my God, why are you so, oh my God, I'm here to support. I'm an ally. She'll get your soft ass out of here, bro. You don't get the fuck on. You don't get the fuck on, girl.
You are everything. Now listen, I'm gonna lighten it up because we're gonna go back to the beginning. We're going back. Now,
All right,
your rewind. Now, I first saw you giving contour tips as Sailor J on YouTube, on YouTube. But I actually want to talk about where the Sailor J name came from and how you are such a huge Sailor Moon fan. When did you learn about Sailor Moon?
Bruh, okay. I was like 4 or 5, all right? And my mom, she was a single mom. She had me like mad young, so we were dumb broke, right? There was a family video in Ferguson, and like the kids movies were like $1 a kids movie, right? And so she would get me those, and she had brought home Sailor Moon one day, and it was just there, like on VHS. But it was a Sailor Moon movie, like the one where they're on the rock with the girl with the flower tits and shit. Like they start like swallowing everybody, like that crazy one. So that was the first one I saw, right? And I was like, oh, I love this shit. So I watched that shit till like the tape broke, bruh. And so like we went to the dollar store. I stole the rest of them, and then like just watched the movies. So I had seen only the films. And I like played them over and over. I thought they were great. Bitch was colorful. We fight niggas in mini skirts, bro. Like I'm with this shit. We set motherfuckers on fire. Like one of these bitches throws lightning. Like I had never seen this shit in my life, bro. I was like, oh my God. I was like, y'all really living like this? My mom had no idea what it was also because I would like ask, I'd be like, do you want to play Sailor Moon? And she would have no fucking idea what I was talking
She
about.
probably
Was
thought
like,
it was just a cartoon that she got you. She didn't get that it was
100%. She had no idea what she did, bro. No idea. Because like years later, I'm in middle school, and this kid Austin, we were talking about Sailor Moon because I had it as my AIM icon. I don't know if you remember AIM, but that shit was the shit. Had it as my icon, and he was like, "Oh my God, I love that show," and I was like, "Show, sir?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's a whole series. It's like 5 seasons." I was like, oh, bitch. So like that year, all I did, I would come straight home. I'd like make 2 soft pretzels, like the kind you like heat up in the microwave or some shit. And I would sit my ass down on YouTube and I would watch Sailor Moon, and I watched that shit all the way through, bruh. All the way through. And never once was I bored. I try to watch that shit now and I'm like, where was the appeal? Like it's like iconic, right? But then you get older and you're like, you get to like your My Hero Academia days. You get past that and you're like, man, ain't no bloodshed. Imagine if there was bloodshed.
But you know what? The interesting thing about it is I feel like they edited for our American audiences, even the DVDs.
100%.
They edited some of the bloodshed because
100%.
there was a lot of bloodshed in Dragon Ball. But
and
I remember
the
later
lesbianism too.
Yes. All that stuff gets edited,
Got
edited out. Anything queer, anything. And you didn't realize it until later. Because I remember seeing Dragon Ball much later, and my boyfriend had to explain it to me. I'm like, what is that black stuff that I keep seeing on their faces on Dragon Ball? He's like, that's actually blood. They couldn't change the animation, so they just color corrected it, so they just look dirty. I'm like, dude, that means everybody in that scene is dead. Like, it's covered in blood. Like, I just thought they were really dirty. But what you're saying is true. This is a horror movie. Okay.
Maybe that's why, because them motherfuckers was finna start like questioning the mechanics. They were like, the math on this, like, it doesn't add up.
It's not
the
gonna
human
work.
body requires a certain amount of blood, and this is just this
not gonna work.
Right, fam.
Right? It's like Ninja Assassin. Like, you just literally nicked him, and now there's arterial spray. Like, what's happening?
Bro, I be thinking about Assassin's Creed sometimes. I play the fuck out of that game. And sometimes she be getting her ass whooped, bro. And then popping right back up. And I'm like, I don't know any bitch that's taking licks like that, dog.
Wait, which Assassin's Creed were you playing?
I just finished Odyssey and I just downloaded the Fate of Atlantis expansion thing because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize that was going to be an expansion. It should have been part of the fucking game. Ubisoft, if you watching this shit, stop making me pay for shit, bro. It should have been
Look,
part of the game. You mean to tell me I did all this shit to find the motherfucking key to Atlantis just to not get into Atlantis, bitch? Unless I got $24 extra. Whack.
the same
Whack.
thing
And
happened
then
to my
Valhalla.
boyfriend with I think it was Heroes Cry because he's Haitian. He's like, I have to buy this because Haitian. But then it was like, wait, it's an expansion. I gotta pay how much? And I'm like,
Yeah, bro.
you know, and that, you know, it's just frustrating because all the versions should be in the game for everybody to play. But you know, I get it. I get it.
Capitalism. I mean, I
Yes.
don't get it because I feel like they're ruining video gaming like as we knew it. Like I remember like motherfuckers could come over. You could play like 4 people to the same console, and like now it's only certain games that you can play
But
on the
there's no
same
money in
console.
that.
Otherwise, everybody
There's
gotta everybody gotta
there's no
buy their
money
own
in that.
shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Swag.
You could, and
Swag.
look, my brothers used to be able to jury rig the systems and play even region free game. Y'all don't remember nothing about region free. I'm showing my age. Did you now, Sailor J? Actually, I'm going to jump back a little bit because you were talking about when you were growing up in Ferguson. So this is Ferguson. So
Yeah.
this is not your first go around in protests either.
No, that shit happened when I was like 17 or 18. I just graduated. It was like 3 weeks before I was shipping out. Yeah.
So this
It
is
was
the Mike
crazy.
Brown.
It was the first time. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is
It was when they shot him.
And so you would join the army, or you were about to join the army?
I was about to join the Air Force, and it was just it was like a visceral, like sickening thing. Cause like you join the military when you're 18, cause you don't know what the fuck the military is. Like you don't know anything. So you're like, oh yeah, like I don't want to be broke. So you go. And like 3 weeks before I leave, I see that shit. And then I go down to the police station with everybody else, and who the fuck is standing on the other side? It's everybody in a uniform. And I like, when I tell you I got sick, I was sick for like 3 days, bro. I couldn't stop crying. I was throwing up all the time. It felt bad. I remember calling my best friend like the night before I left, and I was like, bro, I don't know if I can do this. And he was like, you have to now. He was like, you already in the hotel, girl. You got to go now. I was like, it just felt so bad. Like it felt like you're like betraying your people for real. I didn't like it. And it was, you always know like the cops say shit, especially if you grow up in St. Louis. So it's like, you know, but you don't know until you see them in action. Like that was the first time I've been like pepper sprayed or like got my ass beat or anything like that.
And it was at home. That's the other thing. It's not like you
traveled. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And also, the interesting thing about it though, and I don't know if you've had that out there, but I actually have seen just through videos people have shared that it seems like the National Guard or the people that have come into the protests are calmer than the police.
Well, a lot of that also has to do with the fact that like the National Guard doesn't do shit, bro. They go to training for like 1 weekend out the month or 2 weeks a year. So you handing assault rifles to motherfuckers that like hold them maybe once a month. When you go to BMT, you're there for like 7 weeks, 6 weeks before they let you touch a real one. Like you carrying around a plastic one. They make you learn all the parts of it, how to put it together, how to take it apart. Like you learn all your different your ammo. You go to CADM. One day, bruh. One day they let you shoot a fucking assault rifle. And then the only other time you touch one is if you're deployed or if you're security forces. So the fact that they let motherfuckers out here just run away is wild. Wild. And you can tell, like, you look at their uniforms and shit, their uniforms fucked up. Because they don't do this shit on the regular, bruh. They don't do this shit. These motherfucking mailmen and like, you know, like Uber drivers and shit, like just regular ass people, bro, that they just be handing this shit to, because they're like, oh, well, when we're in need, we call you. Niggas can't even aim, bro. Patches all fucked up. I'm like, that's why they don't want to be there, bro. They don't want to be there. They not into this shit.
Wait, now is this really that, or is it just Air Force clowning Coast Guard?
Okay, well, the Air Force, everybody clowns Air Force because we have like the best amenities. Like it's trash. They treat people like shit, but still better than everyone else. So they call us chair force, which that's fine, bitch. I'll live in luxury if that's what's necessary. Because Marines is fucking crazy. I'm not sleeping out in the desert under the sun just for the fuck of it, just to prove I have the might. Are you out your raggedy ass mind? No, bro. No.
Let me ask you this. Did you start your YouTube channel after you came back? Or did you start it before you
No.
left?
So I was about to get out when I did YouTube because I was like 19 or 20 when I made the first video, and I was just about to get out. I was actually about to get out because they were trying to kick me out because that's what they do to like black kids that cause problems. I shit you not. No, it's just I shit you not. That's just like how they operate. It's a lot of motherfuckers on that base.
You were asking too many questions. You were asking too many questions.
Asking too many questions, saying too much, and every time motherfuckers wanted to ask me to do some shit I knew I wasn't supposed to do, I was like, all right, write me a memorandum and then sign that bitch. Sign it, like put your name on it. And then all of a sudden motherfuckers don't want me to do it no more. And all of a sudden, like, I'm a problem. I got a mouth on me, I'm reckless, I'm irresponsible. I'm like, bro, I didn't even do shit. But I asked you to say it with your chest. But even that's the problem. It's still super racist and super sexist over there. It's trash.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was right when I was getting out.
Wow. Was it strange coming home in uniform and the protests were still going on? Like when you were going, you know, holidays and stuff like that? Or did you take it off at the airport and change the civvies?
Bruh, yeah, like I was never on no patriotic shit. It was very much like I want to leave St. Louis. Like I don't want to be here. Like I'm in an abusive household. Like I'm in a city that I don't like want to be in no more. I want to get the fuck out. However, I got to get the fuck out. So I didn't really, and I was pretty open about that. Like I was pretty honest. Anytime motherfuckers asked me, I was like, I didn't have no money. Like now I got money. So I was always honest about it. Like motherfuckers always wanted to act surprised when I acted up. I was like, you know. And a lot of kids is like that. That's why like when shit like this happens and people go at kids in the military, I feel super conflicted about it because yes, the military industrial complex is an absolute shit show. It's like a murder weapon that no one has ever seen before. It has to be eradicated. I 100% agree. But a lot of the kids, especially the black kids, the Hispanic kids that are in the military, did not know what they were signing up for because they probably signed up when they were 18 and they target kids like that because of shit like that. They know that they're vulnerable. And also by the time that you're in for like 2-3 years, you know, bruh, you know, I got there and motherfuckers was like, give it 3 weeks. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, this is great. Like we got money, we can do it. Bruh, 3 weeks into it, I was like, fuck this shit. Like they know, but they can't, like you cannot.
You can't say it.
I mean,
yeah. Wow.
I mean, you see the shit going on at Fort Hood, bruh. If they want you the fuck up out of there, bro, they will get you the fuck up out. They don't care.
Yeah, and it's so frustrating because it's like we're not safe anywhere. So I know.
And, I was thinking about that the other day. Yeah.
I know why you like Sailor Moon that much. Even when you were a kid, it was an escape.
Yes, bro. You mean to tell me that can't nothing? She's wearing heels, bro, and she's still winning. Can't nothing touch her in this year. I'm trying to go there, bitch. If I have to put on the miniskirt, so be it. If I have to do the pigtails, so be it. Tell me what to do, queen. Because she was whipping everybody ass without trying. All she did was cry, bro. I was like, you know how many fights I won by crying? None. Tell me what you got going on.
You said none?
What did I miss? Get me there. Get me there. And also, I think just like the idea of like the female fighters, again, like I think of that now, it probably had a really big influence. Like, when I play my video games, I always want there to be a fucking option for a girl. And there's just still not so commonly. And I'm like, why? Like, girls look so much better when they beating the fuck out of people. Like, so much finer, so much smoother, so much more graceful. Are you just not going to give me the option, bro? Have you seen
our hair looks better, our skin clears up, all of the characters look so...
and shit.
Exactly. Kicking ass.
And it doesn't even have to be, like, hypersexualized. It's just the power, bro. It's just the energy.
So when you did, because so many people before Nosferatu, in fact, I think that's how Nosferatu, the team, found you, was from your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
When I think you told me a while ago that you started that channel because you were making videos for your sister. Is that right?
My little sister was in middle school at the time. So she was like just getting into like makeup and shit with boys and all this other shit. And she was like complaining about it. She was like really upset. And I hadn't seen them. Like, I did not go home, really, like, except a couple of times. So I was like, oh, okay, bet. And I made her, like, a stupid video, and she liked it a lot, and it was cute. And then it just, it just like went up on Facebook, and I was like, I see a lot of shit online that's not funny, and like motherfuckers think this is funny, so I was like, let me put it on YouTube, make some money.
And well,
and it just
kind of blew up. But
yeah,
also the thing is,
worked,
you weren't just making, though, for the people who don't know that are in the chat, that you weren't just making like makeup videos like everybody else is. You were actually talking about how the whole machine of the beauty industry is teaching girls how to not love themselves and teaching 100%. Them to judge each other and stuff. And that was why it resonated. You were hilarious. I think my two favorites were the Thanksgiving one, when you were doing makeup about like, this is how we are not going to do our makeup like natives. We're not doing this. That was so funny. And then my other favorite one is the horoscope, although I have an issue with Scorpio one because it was mildly accurate. But
I
Aries was good.
It's all love. It's all love. It's all love. All of it.
But would you like sit, because you see all these people that are like, I'm a YouTuber, and they sit and they script things or whatever. Were you writing everything out, or were you just literally turning on the camera and going?
Yeah, you just like let it go, and then you edit out all. I mean, there's sure shit like 5 minutes at a time of me just like
blah.
Like trying to figure out what to say. Yes, bro. And then like you get on it and you sort of get on a roll, and then I just like let myself sort of vent like whatever comes and just like edit it however it's got to work out.
So what was it
easier
like,
that way? Like,
no, go ahead. It's easier.
Sorry, go ahead. Well, like I find shit now, like people will send me scripts, like comedy scripts, and it's like I almost have a hard time understanding what other people think is funny. Like it's difficult for me to do other people's version of funny because I don't know. But it's easy for me to like be a clown on my own terms. So right. I feel like when things are scripted, I get it in my head that there's something I have to adjust to. Okay, so like what is my job here? Like what do I have to like put on for this? Whereas it was just YouTube, it was like I could just do whatever comes as it comes. And
so it would be easier if somebody just threw subjects at you like, whose line is it anyway? And you could 100%. Just riff on it, as opposed to say the script and 100%. Make the joke happen in 2 minutes, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And then like make it funny. And I'm like, okay, bitch, what does that mean? I don't know you. Like, I don't know what you think is funny.
So if anybody from Whose Line Is This Anyway is watching this, y'all need to put Jahkara on Whose Line Anyway. She could be up there with Wayne Brady
the black
doing her
guy
thing.
On that show is one of the funniest anyway.
Wayne Brady, yes. And he's doing the most. He can sing,
too.
he can dance, he can act, he can do everything. Listen, he's played a bad guy several times.
Has he really?
So yes, he has. He was a bad guy in Black Lightning last year. And he was a bad guy on, you need to go watch when he guested on, oh my goodness, the Dave Chappelle show. He played a pimp and was hilarious because everybody thought he was so nice. Is it? I don't remember the number, but I will. Somebody in the chat probably will tell me. No, but somebody, I'm sure somebody in the chat will tell us in a minute. But I think the thing that was also so profound about it was, even with all the like crazy comments and negative comments, and it's so funny because people talk about how negative parts of YouTube are now, and I'm like, where were you 5 years ago? Because it was crazy.
And every major YouTuber that people know anyway, like started their platform on a basis of racism and clownery. So it's like, it's been that way. It was just okay at the time.
Well, people just didn't understand that the way the algorithm worked, it didn't care what you said, as long as you just kept talking. That was the thing. Good attention, bad attention. It was all attention. That's what the algorithm
It's
wanted.
really when money got involved that YouTube got shitty.
Right. Yeah. It's when somebody acts, because when everybody's like, oh my God, PewDiePie is racist, everybody else was like, this is not new. How did you not?
Right, girl, right. Well, I also think that has to do with like YouTube would promote these fucking people like they were somebody to listen to. Like, and they are like racists and pedophiles and like flagrant white boys in other countries doing obscene shit. So if you market these motherfuckers as like great entertainers, then shit, if I stumbled upon that shit and all of a sudden I hear a nigger with a hard R, I'm gonna be like, okay.
You're like, oh, excuse me. See? Take a sip. Take a sip.
Bro, my favorite fucking part is when they're like, it's the gaming community. And I'm like, why? Why is that the excuse? Why is that the excuse?
One of the reasons why
Why
don't,
is that
I mean,
the excuse?
I will game, but I will never go on like Wi-Fi, tell anybody when I'm on, because I am not going to have a 13-year-old from Idaho start cussing me out my name. My
Bro,
boyfriend,
send
big
me
black
the
dude.
address.
Listen, my boyfriend, big black dude, regularly will go on Division and sometimes switch his character to a girl so they can start with him. And I'm like, they don't know what's about to happen. Because when his voice comes,
He be trapping motherfuckers, bro. He's like, I wish a nigga would. I wish a nigga would. Do you remember the Peppa Pig episode where she's like, I can't whistle, and her friend is like
Yes.
this, and then she whistles and she hangs up on her ass, bro? That's them kids on the other line. As soon as they like, hey, little mama, and they had a deep ass voice, and she's like, just put it down. Just put it down. Just put it down. They contemplate their life choices a little bit.
Exactly. But one of the interesting things that's come out of, which is so weird to me, because in this pandemic, one of the things I did, because I was bored, and I was probably drinking, I went on TikTok. And so I was like, let me see. Yeah, I know. I want to explain to everybody why it's that way to you. So, but what was so weird to me was, at first it took me a minute to figure out how the whole thing worked. I'm like, okay, I get it. We're not just singing and dancing. We also lip sync, but not just, I thought people were just lip syncing music, but they were actually lip syncing other people's conversations and comedy shows and things like that. And then I heard your voice and I'm like, oh, cool, Jahkara's on here. And I'm like, wait, no, she's not. And then I'm seeing people with thousands and thousands of followers that are redoing your whole contour video. And that's when you saw me hit you up on Twitter, like, do you know this is happening? And you were like, bitch, do I?
Yeah, bro. Since that stupid ass bitch ass app came out, bro, like November 2017, 18, bro. Just dumb shit. Just dumb shit. TikTok pisses me off because it doesn't, first of all, it doesn't like foster an environment for creativity at all. Like, at least with Vine, you had to make something and you had to make it fast. Now, granted, there's like a lot of creative kids on TikTok
that do that. There's some people that, and there's some people that came over from, like, you're looking at King Vader and you're looking at Caleb City and stuff. They came over and from Twitch with that same mentality, but 100%. These new ones,
bruh, it's and that is, again, like capitalism and clout culture is, it doesn't matter how I get famous or how I get famous online or whatever the fuck you're after. It's just like the fact that I get there. And it's weird to me also because I'm like, where is your longevity in that bitch? Because it pisses, okay, there's so many layers. I have to calm down.
Oh my goodness. I was going to say,
it makes me mad because, bro, I got this one bitch, 3.6 million followers on TikTok. She had one video and it was mine. And I was like, this is crazy. I will shoot you, bitch. And it was not necessarily like the TikTok. It was not the followers, bro. It's just the principle of the thing. It's the thing that you will like strip me of my face and put yours on my voice and take all the credit for it. And like, white people have been doing that to black people for fucking forever. Fucking forever. It just takes new forms. It just takes new shapes.
No one thinks about it like that. It's they don't look at it like that's actually what the app is doing.
And I don't fucking understand how.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
And
how,
she's
like,
now, and
like,
she can make money,
jobs and shit. 100%, man. 100%. Let me catch that bitch in the street, bro. Let me do it. Let me do it.
Snatch her up by her ponytail. She's gonna snatch her by her ponytail.
Fuck, bro. Yes, yes. I'll be like, bitch, you know who I am. Don't fucking play with me, bro. It's like one thing to do it because it's trending. It's another thing for me and multiple other people to be like, yo, this is stolen audio. Like, I'm not making no money off this. Y'all are. Like, take it down. And for people to be like, oh my God, I'm just a fan. I would never die. I'm like, bitch, you making money off me. Like, that's money out of my pocket. Like, that
There's a couple
makes me
people.
So mad.
There are a couple people that I DM'd on TikTok and I said, you know, I told them and they were like, whoa, I had no idea. I actually thought that this audio was from somebody on here. And the only two people that I had, I mean, I'm busy. I tried, but of the people that I asked,
thank you. I appreciate it.
Of the people I talked to, only two took it down. And they legitimately like, I swear to God, I didn't know. I actually thought all of this was from somebody that was on here. So yeah.
because so many people have uploaded it as like original audio. So many people have claimed it. There was one page that was literally just my videos. Like motherfuckers didn't even try to lip sync to it. They just posted my bro. It's just crazy. And then like TikTok as a whole is a piece of shit app because the data mining that it does, nothing that it's doing is legal whatsoever. But because it's like a Chinese based app, like no one really gives a shit, and they finna give a shit with time.
No,
I can feel it in my bones.
They give a shit, but the problem is, here's the thing. And this is why I think it might stay where it is. If they give a shit, then it sets precedence, and everybody's going to have to show their cards. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
Yeah.
So I think to a certain extent, they're going to tramp down on certain things. But honestly, think about it. If whoever decides that it can't be in this country anymore, people will just change the geolocation of their phones. They'll just say I live in Canada. And
100%. I don't know so much that people will stop using it themselves, so much that it will either get involved in like, because our government has like slapped them with like $1 million fines before for the same shit, but it like has continued. And there's people in China. I actually saw this crazy ass TikTok like the other day, and it was a girl in China who was explaining how people who were talking about politics on TikTok, like cops were showing up at their cribs and being like, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that, They were censoring Black Lives Matter for a while. They were censoring trans content. They have like a specific algorithm that looks for white girls basically and like boost their content. Just like crazy shit that I'm like, this is gonna collapse eventually. The same way Facebook
had to what they did was, and the funny thing is, everybody thought for several weeks that had changed because Black Lives Matter was everywhere. But all they did was turn Black Lives Matter into a trend. And so it was fine to talk about it. But now all my posts that have gone up in like the past few weeks, hardly any followers. So all they did was they didn't change anything with the app. All they did was they turned Black Lives Matter into a trend so that it was popular and they wouldn't get dragged. And it was on their homepage. So so it's it's the monetization. Yeah. It's the same thing. So
and it's always after the fact that motherfuckers want to like show up to. It's like after they get dragged that they're like, oh my God, we love Black people. We heart
Tell me what I should do. Teach me. I'm like,
please. I don't want to get yelled at. Be gentle with me. I'm learning.
Karen, I believe Karen is as bad as the N-word. And it's so funny. Yes.
Oh my
God. That one always pisses me off because it's like, think about what you're saying. Karen is bad as the N-word. One of these words you're not even saying. Ergo thusly.
Precisely. Thank you. One of them you will say in public. One of them you will say in a room full of white people. The other you won't say in a room full of Black people. Like, I bet money. And that's my favorite thing. When motherfuckers want to say that shit so bad, bruh, I'm like, I get you in a room. Like 5 Black niggas. Say it. Say it with your chest. Go ahead. Say it with your chest. I fully support beating the fuck out of people who say the N-word. If I hear it, bruh, I give myself permission. I'm like, no matter what this does to my career, Jahkara, we have to. Like,
this is the thing. And I've heard you say this before, but it wasn't until I bet you years ago that it gave me pause. Jahkara, I love you, honey, but you like a $1.05 soaking wet. You are this big. Whose ass are you kicking?
Bruh, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. See, the thing is, I know what I have to lose because I'm small, bruh. If I let you get at me, I'm getting snapped in half. So I'm already in survival mode, dog. If I whoop your ass, I'm whooping your ass to whoop it. Like, ain't finna be no 1-2, good sport, good sportsmanship, good game.
She's like, I'm climbing up your back and I'm slashing your throat.
I will climb you like a tree, bro. Like, I don't have a choice.
And snap your neck.
Bro. I think about that every time I don't want to eat, like, because all the anxiety's been like fucking up my eating and my sleeping and shit. And every time, bro, I'm like, I have to eat, 1, because I have to be able to run from the cops if I go to one of these protests. And 2, because if somebody whoops my ass, bro, I'm gonna be mad. And it's gonna be my fault for not eating. So let me go ahead and get this banana right quick.
You are a mess. So listen, tell me. I know. See, that's what I'm saying. I gotta get the rest of this interview done before you finish that cup. Otherwise, it's gonna be a completely different interview. So tell me what was it like when somebody just went onto your YouTube and said, "Hey, would you like to do a show?" Did you know anything about Nosferatu or the Stephen King or Joel Hill or anything like that?
So I Googled it because I didn't know if it was real or not. Like a lot of motherfuckers, when you go viral for anything, a lot of people are like, let me manage you. You need a
Yeah.
team. Let's
Mhm.
siphon all your money and your blood and your youth. It's fucking weird, right? You don't need any of these people, but they will do their
Right.
best to convince you that you do. So this lady emails me and I was like, all right. And she was like, we're auditioning for this thing in 2 months. If you want to do this, let me know, da da da, yeah, yada. And I'm reading it and I'm thinking like, okay, like this shit's not real. So I like Google it and I was like, oh, okay. So like they're actually filming a show. So then like I didn't take her seriously, right? 2 months later, she emails me again and she was like, hey, we're doing that thing now if you want to do it. And at the time, again, I was getting out of the military. So they were like, you finna have to get out because if you come sign this contract, we have to know that you can film, like you're available for the time. And the military only lets people do shit like that if they're like officers or white
Yeah.
men. So I was like, I'm gonna have to just get out, I guess. So I was like, okay, bet. So I got out, and then like 2 weeks before I left, they brought me out to Santa Monica. I auditioned in front of the producers, and I read with the lady that had emailed me, and shit just went all right. Like they was laughing while I was in there, so I was like, all right, so hopefully it's gonna go okay. Like niggas
Wow.
is giggling, so that's a good sign. And then I went back to the crib and they're like, hey, do you want a job? And I was like, boy, do I, because I just got fired. So it worked out really well, like timing wise.
So you literally went from like the military to sort of Hollywood.
Yeah.
It wasn't Hollywood
In
right
like
away, I
three
know.
months. Yeah,
Wow.
it was weird. A lot. It was a big change. Like everything in my life changed in like 3 months. It was crazy.
Well, yeah, because you went from basically you said you were cleaning latrines to people like
But
waiting on you.
yeah. Yeah, it was that part. And like just getting there and like seeing how people are talked to and treated. I was like, y'all motherfuckers crazy. Like ain't nobody finna talk to me like that. Like I did this thing called Into the Dark and it was
It was a movie,
complicated
yeah.
because the AD there was like a really angry old white guy that was just screaming at everybody, calling everybody stupid.
Oh
I was like, you finna have to
wow.
shut the fuck up, bro. You finna have to. Like I can't because how am I supposed to just sit here and listen to this shit? Like if you don't get on somewhere, because it was like minute shit. Like motherfuckers wasn't even doing anything wrong. They were just he was trying to speed people up by screaming, and I was like, you know, motherfuckers I hang out with like slap niggas for shit like that. Like yo,
But what were the other actors' responses and crew to
Well,
him?
the thing is that I had three other white girls as my castmates. And even then, like,
Mhm.
even if you're number one on the call sheet, like, you could feel the difference in the way, like, I was talked to and, like, interacted with as opposed to them. Like, the producer would go through, like, the makeup and hair team because my hairstylist was, like, a Hispanic girl. And so, like, they would go through her to relay messages. And I was
Oh,
like,
they just
motherfucker,
didn't
like,
want to
I'm
talk
right
to you.
here. Yeah, it was like
Wow.
weird shit. Like I remember one day they like it was hot as fuck, and they brought sunscreen over for the other girls, and like the girl was like, "Oh, you don't need it," and I was like, "Bruh." And like everybody had their chairs out, mine was just missing, bruh. I was like, "Yo, I'm number one on the call sheet. Like I earned this job, like, and I still can't even get like
Wow.
treated right." It was crazy, and then motherfuckers would look at me like I was crazy because I wasn't having it. Like you know, I'm not finna shut the fuck up. So it was just like it was really tense, bruh, because I was like I remember, I know this is like TMI, but I feel like people should know. I was on my period, right? And I told them that. And we had shot a lake scene that day. And I was like, so after we shoot this, I have to go take a shower and like clean up, like before we film like the next thing. They were like, okay, no problem, like da 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 da. Because you know, motherfuckers be getting like toxic shock syndrome and shit like
Mhm,
that. Like,
mhm, mhm.
I'm not doing all that, bro. So like, it comes time that we film it, it's over. I go to like leave, and they're like, "Oh no, you can't go." Da 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 da. And I'm like, "Bitch, we like, bro, we talked about this. Like, I'm not gonna risk my health because y'all running behind." And like, they acted like it was the craziest shit that they had ever heard. Well, I mean, I guess if some people want to be difficult and da da da, I was like, "Bitch, call me difficult. I don't give a fuck. I'm taking a shower." Like, it's just dumb. And even like the hairstyle, even on Nosferatu, the hair was a problem. The wig looks a
Well, the
fucking
hair
mess.
well, the hair, that's like a huge conversation that everybody's having now. I mean, I remember
100%.
last year on Twitter, I was talking to somebody about this and like all of a sudden Yvette Nicole Brown and all these other people were chiming in. I'm like, wait,
Yep.
I'm just a little like person doing little geek stuff at, at
You are not
conventions.
little anything.
But
You are doing amazing
well,
things.
thank you. But I just mean, like, I've never been on a Hollywood set as an actor. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking, what if you are starring in a show or a series, you have a team. All these Black women were like, nope. And
it's embarrassing, bruh.
It is. And it's, unfortunately, it's also because, and I found out a lot about this because I've researched, it's also because so many of us are not let into the unions. So this is because even when I go to, so I can't bring somebody that I know like into NBC to do something for sci-fi. I have to use whoever they give me, which is why I go and get my hair and makeup done at 5 o'clock in the morning and then go.
And it seems like something they do on purpose. It's bullshit. Because I remember telling them, like, I remember like the first day of filming season 2, they put that shit on my head, and I was like, bruh. Like, I got to set, and the showrunner was like, I was like, yes, ma'am. Like, what the fuck? Like, what do we do?
Yes,
like,
ma'am.
Ain't no fucking reason, bro. I'm like, I know girls in the hood that can lay this shit pre-plucked, and you will not see this bitch shift, bro, for hours. That, like, can pre-plug and pre-dye me some shit for, like, a stack and a half. Y'all motherfuckers spending, like, $7K on these dusty-ass, thick-ass, ugly-ass wigs, hiring motherfuckers. Did we not see a portfolio?
But they did, but they don't know black hair. They don't know curly hair. Bruh. So my question is, your hair looks good this season. So did they listen? Oh, damn.
Bruh, girl. Bruh. It was bad. Maybe I just feel extra self-conscious and mad about it because when I get mad about some shit, I just want people to know. But I just spent so much of the time being just like straight embarrassed because it wasn't like just like Keke Palmer talked about this shit like a couple weeks ago. Like the act of having to run back to your trailer to try to fix your hair because you know it looks a fucking mess, bro.
Candace Patton said the same thing. And Candace Patton, who is on The Flash, she said, I really want to have proper hair and makeup and for people to stop calling me difficult because I want proper hair and makeup.
Yes, 100%, bro. Like they were cutting motherfuckers' hair just on a whim and shit like that. Like I was like, first of all, you don't use that on my hair. Like, you don't.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, wow, okay, we're feisty. I was like, no, bitch, you don't put that on my head. Like, I didn't call her a bitch, but I was like, at that point, because I was so tired.
But you thought it. You thought it.
Because how you finna, like, have, like, these white women come into our trailer after we fired the first fucking person because this was a mess. And then the first fucking thing she tries to tell me is that she knows my hair better than I do. Like, no. I told them. I was like, I'll do this shit myself. I was like, if we get picked up, I'll do this shit myself. I'll buy this bitch myself. I'll pluck this bitch. I'll dye this bitch. Y'all will pay me for it. And I'll lay it when I get to work. And, like, if we have to negotiate more money for me in my contract because I have to do that. Because white girls don't have to do that, bro.
No. And so many of us have to do that. It's a regular thing. Now, okay, I don't want to bash the whole show. So.
It is a nice show. It's a nice crew and, like, a really good showrunner. And they try. But just the hair, man. I was really upset about it. Sorry, moving on.
But as a horror show, no, first of all, we talked about my issues last season. I'm like, but did she have to be on drugs though? But she's but the funny thing is when you show I know. But I did like when I saw her character show up very first episode of the second season, Maggie stepped out dancing into the kitchen and I'm like, that's Jahkara. That's not Maggie, that's Jahkara. Just dancing. I got a job.
Well, the thing is, like, Romans, Ashley Romans is the actress who plays Tabitha.
Yeah.
And she was one of my first friends when I got to LA anyway. So, like, anytime I got to walk with her, it was like, super natural, like, super easy, like, just because you bounce off each other as you know each other. Yeah, so she made it really easy, like, really worthwhile, too.
Yeah, that's great.
Long-ass days. Yeah.
But you still coming out, driving way across town to help this poor child. Trying to help this. That's the way
What was it that Brenda said in Scary Movie 2? It was like, one little white girl falls down a well and here the whole town comes. I was like, this ain't even my kid. I was like, they can't let me in the writer's room with no Spratu, bro. I'll act to ass. Maggie finna be monologuing and shit like, this ain't even my baby, bro. I ain't even asked for all this. I was living in my townhouse. The walls painted and shit, curtains looking nice, and here the fuck you come 7 years later. With some more bullshit.
And how many takes did you have to do that first episode where you like? Because I was like, oh God, she's already calling 911. Something happened, and you put your arm in that bag and you passed out. I was like, oh God, how many takes did you have to fall down?
I think, well, the thing is, like, they always try to minimize, like, super physical shit, right? Like, they don't want you to have to do it over and over again, but I love doing shit like that, so I'd be, like, throwing myself backwards. So, like, okay, can we get, and, like, the DP Marv, he's totally into that shit, right? He's, like, a crazy scientist, so if you're like, hey, let's do this shit, he's like, okay. It'll be, like, the first motherfucker to be like, all right. And so, like, Marv is like, no, let her do another one. And I'm like the whole time, anything that requires, like, the weird shit, I like doing. Like, the worst days are like days that, like, you got a lot of shit to say in chunks. Like, that's the worst day. The best days are like days you get to do physical
like
shit,
when
and days you just get to stand in the background, bro.
Like when you're monologuing and trying to tell her for the 150th time why she shouldn't do what she's about to do.
100%. I'm like, listen, I ain't got a lot of white friends on this show, and you're the only one that be acting up like this. I'm not saying I see a pattern, but I see a pattern.
So what I'm going to do, I actually want to ask you about, outside of that show, what stuff you're watching, and then we're going to take some questions. So what are you like? First of all, I didn't know until I hit your Instagram like a couple weeks ago, because, you know, you lose track of time during COVID. Like, I'm like, okay, wait, I was checking this yesterday, but that was last week, or is it tomorrow? Like, I don't know where I am. So at some point I was on your page and I was like, wait, she paints? Why didn't I know she painted? So are you using painting as a way to, like, calm down and help with anxiety?
It's hard because, like, getting myself to do self-soothing activities is super difficult. Like, the focus. I did pole for like 6 months. And then I fucked my shoulder up because I didn't want to slow down. And I had to stop for a long time. And I'm, like, just now to the point where I can do, like, physical therapy and I can work out, but I can't climb yet, they said.
Oh, wait, I saw you on the pole like a week ago.
No,
are you
those are
supposed to be
all
back?
old videos.
Oh, okay. Because I was like,
being sad bitch. I just be looking out on the memory. I'm like, wow, I was getting so good. Booty looking right, titty sitting, like, the legs, they were toned. And now here I am. Bootyless, bruh. No tone, no muscle. I
getting knocked in the head by police. Getting knocked in the head by police. That's what we're doing.
Man, I was like, I ain't even make it 2 blocks before I was like, a bitch is winded. Like, I was like, I lost, like, my only exercise that I enjoyed, bro, and just, like, emotionally collapsed in on myself, for real. So I've been trying to, like, get back to like the more docile shit, like painting and writing, but it's hard, bro. It's hard.
It is
Even
hard.
the
It's
paintings
hard to
I do are like rage.
You up there, you in your house like Basquiat, painting across the page, wall, refrigerator, everything.
Mad. Blunt in my mouth. Dog is like freaked out. He's like, you could just go to bed. You could just get some rest and eat right, and you'd be straight. But nah, we up here at 3 a.m. I can't get no rest. You can't get no rest. It's fine.
And I can't sleep because there's paint everywhere. Help.
Yeah.
So what are you playing right now? What are you watching? Like, are you playing any video games right now? And are you watching any shows outside of your own?
I did just finish Odyssey, which I bought like a while ago. I should have finished it sooner, but I didn't. I took the time. But I finished it. It was nice. I'm looking forward to Valhalla, kind of, only because it's another Assassin's Creed game. I'm not super excited about the prospect of being white people again, or like doing the whole Celtic Viking shit, because I just feel like everyone's done it.
Can't you make your own? But can't you make your own characters even within that? Can't you change what the character looks like? Ah, damn.
I think if you buy shit, you might be able to, but like off rip, nah. Which was a bummer because in Origins, they had a black protagonist and he had a black woman. Well, I mean, she was the color of sand, but I like told myself she was black. And so I was like, okay, new directions, but apparently not. My sisters came to see me and we played this game called Overcooked that I'm addicted to. Is
it a cooking video game?
It is a child's cooking video game, bro, and it will stress you the fuck out. It's like all about teamwork and communication, and it's really cute, but it will like really tear apart your familiar relationships. So tread lightly. We played Little Nightmares, which was cool because it's like a puzzle game, but it's like Tim Burton-esque. That was pretty cool. Otherwise, I'm not like a hardcore gamer. I have shit that I like that I will like.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm not
always playing Sims.
It's funny. I'm not a hardcore gamer either. I like fighting games. So when I have time to play a game, I need to sit down and kill things. I can't do RPGs. People want to have like RPGs. Like, do you like, everybody was trying to get me, just any RPG. When the thing comes up and says, what do you want to do? Do you want to have the conversation? Do you want to kill them? I'm like, yes, kill them. That's what I'm here to do. Kill them. I don't understand.
Slaughter and maim.
Right. So like Mortal Kombat, yes. Tekken, cool. Stop talking to me. I talk all day. I can't. No. So it's a lot.
That reminds me, like, after a hard day of 5th grade, I'd go home and play GTA and just run motherfuckers over on the sidewalk. Like, there was a lot of shit going on. They should have never given us access to that shit so young, bro. Ain't no regulations on that. I'm pimping and hoeing and shit. I'm fucking in the back of Starbucks, and I ain't, like, cracked 8th grade yet, bro. It was a lot. San Andreas was a lot.
San Andreas. Listen. I was good until they were pulling women out of cars and like getting hookers and like taking them and doing stuff to them and throwing them out of cars. I couldn't.
They should have had male escorts. That's where the sexism lies. Ain't no male escorts, not nary one.
Right. Not one. Like if I could have taken him into the alley and then thrown him out the car, I'd have been fine. But
dead ass would have beat that nigga's ass and gotten my money back. Welcome to
so stupid. So let me ask a few of these questions, and I'm fanning myself because it is. I turned my air off for the show, and it's so hot in here.
Deep breaths. You doing all right? We got you.
And we in here drinking, so now I'm heating up.
It's the liquor. I was about to say it's the wine. I was like, it's the wine hitting, bro. After this show ends, you finna like go peek around the corner at your man, like. So when you hit him like with the little lazy smile, just recede back into the darkness, bro.
The first question, you're a mess. Question: Do you want that Disney Marvel check? So, do you want to be a Disney character or a Marvel character? If so, what character would you love to play?
So, I would do a brown Disney princess, vote a culture into kids, but otherwise. I'm too wild for Disney, bro. Like, I'd fuck that up in a heartbeat.
That's why I'm saying Marvel. Okay, so, all right. So, let's just skip that. Deadpool. They could put you in Deadpool. Deadpool 3.
They could put me the fucking Deadpool. I could be Deadpool, bro. That's how aggressive we get over here. I was really mad when they did, like, let Zazie Beetz have more of a moment, bro.
A chibi Deadpool in heels.
A chibi Deadpool with the mini skirt, bro. With the red mini skirt and the swords. And I could just have like a glitter compass that just like spouts the glitter. It don't actually do shit, but just so I can live the fantasy. And we finna have a light show every time I pull the sword out, bro. I saw a fucking tweet earlier where it was like Sailor Moon transforming. So it's like the opening 3 seconds when she twirls around and shit, bro. And then it's just a nigga in a hoodie standing there, and it's like the villain while she transforms. And it's like a laser light show going on, and he just like waiting, bro. Just waiting. That shit will get you in trouble.
Oh my God.
Transformations, the guts.
They will. Now, somebody else asked, are you watching any other anime? So there's any other anime you're watching right now?
Just caught up on My Hero Academia. I just rewatched King and Ashura, which if you haven't watched it, watch that shit. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
I watched Your Name last night. I've been watching
Your Name made me cry.
I don't really like. I know, bro. I've been watching Baki. I don't like it, but my friend likes it, so we have to watch it every time I'm over there.
You know what's interesting? Rapper Baki is. Oh, of course. Yeah, Face Day Night is gorgeous.
Unlimited Blade Works is my favorite, bro, for that very reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The interesting thing about Grappler Baki is I get the concept, but like the way they're drawn, like who has ribs up here?
They're so ugly.
How does that work?
Ugly. I don't know
Why
how
is
to look
your
at
rib up here? Why?
I don't want to
Why
see
is
it.
your
I don't want
stomach
to see it.
muscle right here?
And I hate like this storyline of like people who are like really aggressive and badass but don't want to be. They're like, I'm just a regular guy. Hi, da, da, da. I'm like, you don't whoop that nigga ass, bro. If I was endowed with the strength of the gods, and this is why I'm small, bro, because God knew I would act up.
God knew this. You're a
He
chihuahua.
knew,
You're
bro.
a human chihuahua.
I would act the fool. I just Netflix just released this one called Japan Sinks, which is crazy. It's like this earthquake hits Japan and everybody started dying, bro. Everybody. That's
I'm gonna
just
check that
wild.
out.
You gotta watch it. I finished it in one sitting because that shit was wild. I was like, I got tired, bro. I was like, God damn, I'm not even there, and I'm like exhausted. That was.
I've
good.
got one. I've got one that I think you'll like. It's from a couple years ago. It's Blood Blockade Battlefront, and
Oh.
I will send you a link later. It is absolutely hilarious. All the characters cuss each other out. It's basically the short and the long of it is there is this universe and a parallel universe have collided. And so now there's like all kinds of sort of spiritual fantastical beings that are living on this side, and we also can go to that side. And most of it takes place in New York City, which is now called Hell Salem's Lot. And there is a group of elite. There's always a group of elite. Think of like Section 9 that goes to the shell. And they're called Libra, and they're all bloodbenders. And they all use their blood in different ways, but they can turn their blood into constructs. Like Green Lantern, they can turn it into like a cannon or a sword or a tank or a plane. And there's a young boy named Leonardo Watch who comes to Hell Salem's Lot trying to find a cure because one of these gods has made his sister blind and given him the all-seeing eyes of the gods. So he can see things and spiritual things that other people can't see, but he doesn't want them because he wants to get his sister's sight back. And so they end up all working together to fight to keep like the balance and stuff. But it's hysterical because all the characters, it's like taking all these characters from the Lower East Side and putting them in this fantastical world, but they still go and get ramen and they still like cuss each other out. And they still
Crunchyroll?
I think I saw it on Crunchyroll, but I'm pretty sure Funimation has it also.
Okay.
And
fuck yeah.
we're gonna you'd love it. I'm like totally give this advertisement. I am not being promoted for this. I'm telling you, I just like this show. And no, it's not. Is there a current show that you would want to join the cast of? Something that's out. It doesn't have to be anime or anything like that, although I think you do great voiceovers. But is there another show that you'd love to, like, if I had that role, I'd kill it?
Pussy Valley is a show that like just premiered on Showtime, and it's about strippers in the dirty South, boy. And I like love shit like that. Like any projects that deal with like the feminine energy, like feminine sexuality. Like I like characters that they're like a little rougher. You feel me? Like I really hate kind of like the like boring, like stereotypical type shit. Like I want like bad girls, like girls that fight, girls that are pissed off but like still have feelings. Like I like shit like that. Like I want complexity in women. And I feel like the show's name is like funny.
Right, and you want to play You on a Tuesday. You want to play You on a Tuesday.
Me on a Tuesday. Yeah, like you have to have something that you like understand about the person that you're supposed to be. Otherwise, you're just like feeling around in the dark, right? I feel like it's really, really easy to be like boring and sexy in like every role that you play. But like some of like the best actresses I've seen have like never been concerned about being sexy. It's about like turmoil or anger or power or anything like that. So Pussy Valley.
Now,
watch it, by the way. Support.
I will. What about any gaming companies have, this is another question from the chat, have any gaming companies reached out to you to voice a character? Because like I said, I think you'd be amazing at that.
No, the crazy thing is like, that's another thing, is like this girl got offered a job on TikTok because of Contouring 101. I shit you not.
Because of your voice.
Yes, and I'm not allowed to say like what company it was because she reached out to like somebody that I'm mutuals with, and they told me about it because she didn't feel right about it. She saw me like calling motherfuckers out left and right just for using it. So then I DM'd them and I was like, yo, like, you know, this is stolen content. Like she screenshotted me the part where she was like, oh, well, like it's not my voice. And like they were still like offering her shit. So no one's offered me that, but people have been offered it for my work.
For your voice, right? Is there a game, like, have you played a game or seen a game where you're like, oh, I would be so, like, if they decided to bring back Grand Theft Auto in 2021? Yes.
I would want to be like one of like the Gotham City Sirens if they come out with another Batman game or a Joker game or some shit, or any of the Assassin's Creed. I would do. Honestly, I feel like, again, like anything that involves killing or maiming, I'd be like, I would co-sign on that. I'll lend my vocals to that cause.
I'm gonna have to rename this episode because I was calling it y'all got famous off of Jahkara, y'all got TikTok famous off of Jahkara Smith, but now I have to feel like gonna name it like Jahkara Smith kills people. Like that's what this
killing and maiming. I'm just like a really
killing and
angry
maiming
young lady, like, bruh, it's just like lately, and it just keeps getting worse. Like the
yeah,
world
but it
just keeps
sounds
giving
like
me reasons to be pissed off, bruh.
Yeah, but it
every
honestly,
time I'm like, I'm good.
But based on what you've told me tonight, it sounds like you're just hungry. Like if you only eaten a banana bowl.
I did have an argument with somebody earlier because like I was like, I ate today, and he was like, goldfish, and I was like, it counts if you eat a lot. If you eat many, the nutrients accumulate.
Listen, cake and a vitamin. That's my diet.
Ain't that a bitch too? It's like the way to solve your anxiety is self-care, but anxiety be fucking up your self-care, so now you're more anxious because you fucking up your self-care. And I just feel like none of this, I ain't asked for any of this cognizance.
Right. It's kind of like healthcare in this country. It's kind of like healthcare in this country. As long as you can afford it, you get sick. But if you can get sick, you can't afford it. See, that's a whole other show.
Bullshit. Bullshit. I'm just waiting for everything to burn to the ground, bro. I'm saying it's like the way Americans are acting right now, bro. They finna leave us on this rock with all these crazy ass white people. All the other people across the world, they finna be like, nah, you niggas is wild. And they finna be like, we don't know you niggas. And we finna be stuck on this motherfucking rock with these motherfuckers that don't want to wear masks. They don't want to do shit. They still fighting for the Confederacy 200 years after you niggas lost. Like, just absolute, just bullshit, bro. Clownery.
Right.
Clownery.
Fighting for the Confederacy, fighting for the flat earth. Like, I don't.
All the things wrong.
I said this earlier. I said 2020 feels like a broken game of Jumanji, and the players are drunk.
Right, yes.
Like, I'm done.
Bro, the
like,
players don't give a shit. Fuck being drunk. The players is like, bitch can't kick me out the game. I'm gonna do what I want. Like,
or they left it on all night and went to sleep, and the game just kept playing. We're getting our asses kicked, and they wake up in the morning and they try and fix it. Because it's like there were murder hornets. Now they're not. There were
right. Where the fuck did they go?
Right. Where the locusts. Now they're not. Like,
you know what happened is the murder hornets saw like how he was acting over here and was like, nah, we straight. We straight. Y'all niggas ain't even worth the
You know what?
A
friend of mine earlier, Jay Washington, I was on his live, and he was saying, this is like somebody has traveled back in time and they keep screwing it up. They're like, oh, did it wrong. And they go back and do it again. So like we're stuck in somebody else's loop.
Bro, I don't know who the fuck is in charge. What? So I've been like looking at super religious people kind of side-eyed lately. I'm like, where he at, bro? Where he at? At what point?
But listen, the fact that you had people marching, you had the Amish, you had Satanists, you had black folks, white folks, everything in between, LGBTQ community, and flat earthers at one point, all marching together. And we still can't solve stuff.
They said it was the biggest civil rights movement in history, right? Because it was like 18 countries across the world too.
Yeah, because everybody was inspired. Everybody was inspired to like talk about what was happening to them. And that's what's been happening for everything. It's spilled over into every industry. That's why every day on Twitter, there's a comics person, gaming person in politics. It's like, yes, I'm sorry, I collect feet. I shouldn't have done that. It's like, what? How?
I collect feet. You get on my fucking nerves, bro. Look at these my toes. Fuck you, me. Yeah, and we all have hobbies.
Right, like but it's just the most bizarre thing. So I just want to let you know there's so many people in the chat that think you're amazing. And
Oh,
there's
thank
so many
you.
people that have been like shouting you out. Somebody was
Thank
like,
you.
she should have her own indie show. She should have her own indie movie.
I want you guys to know that I am writing things. And when they're done, I'm going to tell everybody. That way, when a bunch of old white people tell me they can't do it and I do it anyway, it's documented. But it's coming.
But here's the thing. I don't think you
it's
should
coming.
do that. I think there's so many Black people now. Like, look at like April Rain has her new company. You've got Matthew Cherry is started his new series. You've got all these other people. You've got even like LeBron James and all these other people are starting their own media companies. Jahkara, by the time your script is finished, you can take it to. I want to see more Black people.
I think 100%. That I think that like the thing that people don't. And again, like also it's weird because like it exists but it doesn't, right? Like I have an agent in a well, she's my manager, not my agent. I don't know. One or the other. I don't. But
sometimes pay her to bring you bananas.
Right. Sometimes I be asking her, well, that's so I ask her sometimes, I'm like, hey, can I do this? Can I do that? And in my mind, shit seems really simple, right? Because again, motherfuckers told me I had to do shit a certain way on YouTube and I didn't. And it worked. So I'm like,
and it worked.
I feel like I'm straight, right? So I'll like ask to do shit and it'll be like, oh, well, yeah, typically things go this way or that way or da da da, like laying out all these unnecessary ass steps, right? Which is basically all it is like bootlicking your way up through Hollywood. Is like if so and so likes you, you can get here, but you have to like prove yourself or prove this or prove that. And then you see shit like tweets about Lena Dunham, who it's like HBO accepted her pitch with a page and a half pitch and no characters, no storyline, da da da, knowing goddamn well that no one took Awkward Black Girl seriously from Issa Rae, even though it had millions of followers, bruh. They made her write like a 3-season outline, some crazy shit like that, before they wanted to pick her shit up. But you expect me to celebrate shit like Lena Dunham?
No, but
like,
this,
ain't no
this
way.
is the
so
thing.
Point,
it's because right now, so many people, no one wants to be called racist. So everybody's looking and pitching and taking everything. That's why. Yeah. In the past year and a half. I mean, honestly, since Black Panther, there's been more this year. And I'm not saying that they're greenlighting everything. But even then,
like it's always got to be like a certain type of like Black content, right? Like it's always.
I mean, we got to be slaves,
or like the Wakanda
we have to be slaves.
Shit. Yeah. And I'm just like not about that shit at this point. So if motherfuckers tell me no, I'm be like, all right, I'm gonna ask 50 other motherfuckers. And if they say no, I'm gonna just do it myself. But I want y'all to know, I'm telling everybody. The crazy shit is that people want you to be quiet, like when they tell you no. Even though I'm like, you're telling me no because you're not finna make money off this, number one, or number two, it's like inconvenient to you to the point where you don't want to do it. And that's fine. You're not capable of doing it, but you're not finna tell me I can't do it, bro. And I'm gonna say something. Like, or even when it comes to bullshit like racism, when you have all these people coming out saying like I was mistreated or I was ignored or da 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 da, like they count on you being quiet about it.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's how it's perpetuated. And that's why people don't understand when we're saying defund the police, they think that means eradicate the police. We're saying no, defund, like decaffeinated. There's still caffeine in decaffeinated coffee. I'm saying
eradicate the fucking police. Fuck all the niggas.
Well, it has to be rebuilt. It has to be rebuilt because the problem is you can have as many trainings as you want, but if as we saw in Watchmen, if it's corrupt from jump, it's not going to work.
Ain't no fix. So you can't reform.
No. And that's where the abolitionists come in. And I think that's where a lot of people are getting confused because they don't know history. Even with what we're going through in the pandemic, the pandemic of 1812, same thing happened in New York. People got tired, decided to go back out. The pandemic got worse. Thousands of more people died. It's just, this is history repeating itself, but nobody knows it because they're so busy.
Sorry, go.
No, it's okay. Somebody said what?
Somebody said the bubonic plague, the Black Plague. Somebody said that bitch lasted 800 years, bro.
It never died. The bubonic plague came back in China last week. Google bubonic plague when we're done. It is back.
I don't want to. I don't want to. I didn't know that shit. I don't want to know about it. Fuck this noise, bro. Fuck this noise. I'm tired. Somebody help. Who do we call to? Who do we yell for?
So listen, I am just like, it's so funny because so many people have supported you here. If you can see this chat when you watch the replay, you'll see you've got a lot of fans in here.
Aw,
Think you're
thank you
amazing.
guys. I
The
love you
mods here are
guys.
awesome. And that everybody's agreeing with you. No more being quiet. No more
Yeah.
like just turning the other cheek.
Speak
But
out,
we
bro.
speak out and be organized. But at the same time, Jahkara, I need you and your little buck-o'-nine ass to stop standing in front and getting hit in the head with rubber bullets. I'm gonna need you
Bro,
to bring some
somebody
white
got
people.
to stand in front.
You need to bring a big white boy with you to stand in front of you.
Big
so
white
you will
boy.
because they don't shoot him.
Security.
Actually, no. Just bring a white girl. They don't shoot them apparently.
Bro, see,
So
this is the craziest shit though. It's like I have never like white people are so oblivious to danger because they are the danger. I feel like it's like times I've been at protests, like motherfuckers start getting shot at, right? And the white people just standing there and they're like, yes, we fight for justice. Allies out the ass. I'm like, bitch, get in front. I'm like, what are you hollering in the back? Bitch, get in front. I remember being at Fairfax, bro. And I was like, I'm seeing a lot of white people down there in the back. What y'all doing? And then motherfuckers want to like shuffle their way to the front real slow. I'm like, bitch, why are you here, bro? Why are you here? It's the same thing with like white, what do I want to say? White heroines. When they like comes to white feminism in media, that has really pissed me off, bro, lately. Like we see so many articles where it's like groundbreaking. This is brand new shit we've never seen before. It's just earth shaking, and it's just like a white girl with a gun or some crazy shit, right? And I'm like, how y'all finna put the frailest bitches in charge? Like, that's wild to me. Like, white girls can't stand next to a black person in the park without calling an executioner. However, you made her like queen of the seven kingdoms. Daenerys still pisses me off, bro. She was a colonizer. You got your dragons eating motherfuckers. You knocking down niggas' idols and shit. I wish a bitch would come to my hood, start knocking over my statues and shit. Bitch, I'll slap the shit out you.
I've said no. You're absolutely right, and it's funny because I'm not crazy about how they wrote her at the end, but with the way they wrote her, she turned all crazy and Karen. Jahkara. They turned her into a Jahkara.
That's why she won, bro. That's why she got to all seven kingdoms. Don't nothing move quiet in the dark like white crazy women, bro. I've seen Waiting to Exhale or whatever the fuck it's called.
That's with black women. Oh my god, you crazy.
Wait, what's the one where it's like it's like that white girl and she like cuts off her hair because her roommate cuts off her hair and she like starts stalking her.
It's single white female.
Single white female. Yes. Okay.
It's the white lady movie.
I said Waiting to Exhale and I was like, nah.
That was Whitney. That was Whitney and Angela. Leave them alone.
It's the short hair. The short hair. And she like starts stalking old girl. They make that same movie like every 6 years. See, that's what I'm saying. If you black and you watching this shit, write your shit, bruh. Write your shit. I want to see it. I want to read it. I want to see it. At me on Twitter. We finna boost your shit. We finna do whatever we got to do. But I'm tired of seeing the same fucking shit.
Now see, wait. And don't get your feelings hurt because you can't answer nobody on Twitter. So wait.
I do. I just get distracted.
Wait.
In my defense, I'm high all the time, bro. So I be reading shit and I'll be like, yes, agreed, 100%.
But you're saying it out loud and you're not tweeting. You need to tweet it and not say it with your inside voice, okay? You sitting there talking to Twitter.
Use the fingers, the thumbs. It's all in the thumbs.
So tell everybody, okay, well, now that you told everybody to send you their scripts, where are they going to send them to? So Slayler J, right? On Twitter?
Slayler J on Twitter. Jahkara J. Smith on Instagram.
Yeah,
just at me, bro.
The entire second season of Nosferatu is up on Amazon Prime, or for those of you who are in England, it's someplace, BBC. And I just want to thank everybody. The chat has been lit tonight. Everybody has been amazing. Thank you, Jahkara, for joining me. Thank you for hanging out for another episode of The Blerd Girl Live. I'll be back next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m., same bad time, same bad channel. My next guest, Matthew Cherry. Ha!